So we're back with album review.
Hell yeah, dude.
So we're doing an album that I decided to pick this week. It's an artist we've done already, and another artist that Zach's done all of the discography of. Van Halen,
Hell yeah,
the self-titled album, the very first album.
Fucking sweet shit.
So this is their first album. Came out in 1978. This is the album that they would just really get them onto the scene. Do you guys have any other context you want to give?
This album is fucking slapping.
Okay.
Well, the only thing I can really think of is that live performances with Eddie, he would take his amplifiers and fucking use a voltmeter to adjust for voltage. And he had a thing called a variac, which it would either amplify the amplifier's power output or decrease it depending on where he was at, and that's how he got one of the signature sounds out of his amplifiers.
Yeah, and Eddie Van Halen has a very distinct sound that we all know when you hear it.
Yeah, I think this is the first time he showed off like the straight
guitar. Yeah.
The straight guitar.
Zach, any context you have for this album? Since I know you've listened to all Van Halen's albums before.
I would say if 1984 isn't their biggest album, this one definitely.
Oh,
is.
for sure.
Like
this one has so many big.
This
bangers
is the
off
second
of it.
big hit.
Yeah.
Like absolutely.
Can we talk about how Michael Anthony looks like he's trying to like stare down the eyes of God in this picture? Like he looks very seductive looking in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
And then fucking David Lee Roth is just like. He's either miserable or tired in this picture.
He looks like he's about to fall asleep in that picture. Meanwhile, Eddie and Alex are just vibing.
Eddie looks fucking baked.
Yeah.
He looks like he smoked some good rock or some shit. He's just vibing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's jump into this album, though, with the first track, probably the biggest track, Running with the Devil. Everyone knows this track. It's a banger.
Absolute banger.
It's a Van Halen essential.
It's a Van Halen essential, for sure.
Like, it's, you heard it.
And yeah, you've definitely heard this track before.
And even going into the next song, like...
The next song, you've definitely heard this before if you're a classic rock enjoyer. Probably one of my favorite instrumental tracks of all time.
It is my favorite instrumental track, probably.
Yeah, Eruption.
Yeah.
Fucking kicks ass. Fucking amazing.
Every guitar player knows Eruption.
Yeah,
right?
Eddie Van Halen's just showing off on this track, and it's so good.
He's flexing his muscles.
He's flexing his muscles on this track in the best way possible.
This is the first time shred guitar existed.
Essentially.
This is the point of, like, this is where it started. Exactly.
Just going off on the guitar, shredding it. Like this is a very innovative song too. This is a sound that no one had heard before.
This whole album was a brand new sound. Like,
yeah,
this was 100% new for the time. Like there's no way anybody was doing this kind of stuff.
And this song complements into the next one. One of my favorite covers of all time is "You Really Got Me."
I didn't know this. The guitar's out of tune.
It is?
So
oh shit. That makes sense.
For a guitar nerd for a minute, the B string on a guitar is the second thinnest string on a 6-string guitar. It was out of tune by an eighth of like an eighth of a step. And you can hear it in the like that part. You can hear it's out of tune, but only slightly. But it's noticeable for someone who has the musical ear and someone who can tell when something's out.
Yeah,
it's noticeable, but it worked.
Yeah,
and it was a part of the sound. Like it took me forever until I saw a video on that song in particular, and they're like, "Yeah, no, he was out of tune."
Yeah, and I love the Kinks version of this song. But this one's also fantastic.
This one bangs.
This is the one I've heard the most, I think.
Oh, me too. I've definitely heard this version more.
The Kinks are fucking underwater, and they're like flying high in the sky with this song.
Yeah. So the next track, another really big one, Ain't Talking About Love.
Oh, dude.
I love this track. It's fantastic. Again, just filled with just Eddie and all them showing off their skills.
Yeah. That riff alone.
Yeah, that riff alone is just fantastic.
There's so much technicality.
Yeah.
I think all the guitar work on this album is fantastic.
Oh yeah,
everything.
Very super.
It's
very well produced album too.
It's genuinely one of the best.
Dave, on his vocal lines,
he delivers hard.
Oh my god, dude! This is why I think I have a hard time choosing between him and why can't I remember his name? Who's the second singer of Van Halen?
Sammy Hagar.
I have a really hard time between the two, but I think Dave overwhelmingly wins.
Interesting. Okay, but
but the Sammy stuff is great too.
yeah, I don't mind the Sammy stuff, but that's for another day.
Yeah.
The next track, I'm the One. I love this one. It's a fucking really fast one. Very, very melodic. Very fun to listen to.
Jammy.
Very jammy, yeah. Very jammy, mate.
Very jams.
And then another really big song, Jamie's Crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
And then I love the little guitar lick, the wah wah.
That's
like,
I think that's on a wah pedal. He's hitting the
Yeah.
wah pedal just at that one point.
Yeah, that would make sense, but it's so good. But the next track, Atomic Punk, I like this one. It's a very gritty sounding song, like with even the intro, like it's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
And very heavy. I love the sound of this one too.
I watched a guy there in recent times, post Eddie's passing. A
Yeah.
lot of people have been playing a lot of Van Halen stuff, and
Oh yeah.
there's one guy that does reviews on gear, and one of them was Van Halen's signature amp, and he's playing that
Oh,
part.
the Atomic Punk
He's
intro.
playing
That's
the
awesome.
intro on that amplifier with all the pedals and stuff. I was like, dude, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, for sure. The next track, Feel Your Love Tonight, very vibey one. I like this one a lot too.
Hells yeah.
Like, there's not a single song on this album I don't like,
This
like
is-
at all.
Yeah.
You could play this at a party, and it
It's
fits
a
every-
very big party album. It's very
Yeah.
high energy.
It's 100% like I hear this everywhere though, like
This
events, like
Yeah.
stadiums. You'll hear a lot of these songs
This is
anywhere.
their
Like
album.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they're big.
Next track, probably the slowest track, Little Dreamer. I still really like this track a lot though.
I feel like the same thing kind of happens like in 1984 where like
A little, but
the ending of the album is kind of like the calm down, if you will, if it was like a high.
yeah.
It's like there's high, like the highs are high and are perfect, but when the lows come in, it's kind of like.
I still really like Little Dreamer. And even the next one's one of my personal favorites is Ice Cream Man. I love this track.
That was fucking goofy.
Very
as well.
goofy track.
Yeah.
Very on the nose, plenty of flavors to satisfy. Yeah.
Punny.
Very
ha.
punny. Very funny. I love the acoustic intro. And it just bleeds into a heavier song like we all know Van Halen for.
Yeah, dude.
And then the closing track, another heavy one, On Fire. I like this one too.
Good way to
So-
end it.
for my final thoughts,
Yeah.
I started off listening to this album this time,
Yeah.
going into it as 1984 being my favorite.
Oh.
But now I think this
Have
is
I
becoming-
converted you?
I think I've been converted to this being my favorite Van Halen album.
Like, I'm just saying, I love 1984, and I hadn't listened to this album in a bit when we did that episode, but after re-listening to it, there's an obvious choice for me. Like, it's no longer a neck-and-neck choice. Van Halen's 1984, still amazing album.
Great.
Groundbreaking album.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But something
really
about
is.
this album,
This album is something different. man.
like, this album is
It's
special.
It's all bangers. Like
All
oops,
bangers.
Oops, all bangers. Like,
Yeah.
they-
all gas, no break,
All
essentially.
gas, no brakes. Get out of here,
Yeah.
bro. That's
And it's a
pretty-
short album,
it got
too.
gas in it. That's
It's
what I'm
got
saying.
that
You
gas.
having gas in it.
Yeah, short album, 35 minutes, but not a single second is wasted for me
Yeah.
personally. Luke, final thoughts?
Banger.
Certified
That's-
banger.
That's all it is.
Yeah, and I hate this. I don't hate to say this. I think it's perfect to me personally. So we're gonna go to scores real quick. I'm giving it a 10. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a straight up 10.
Damn.
Like,
Fucking out of the gate.
Flannel.
It's fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah, you
Nothing-
didn't wear the flannel.
Yeah,
I
you didn't wear the
flannel.
lucky flannel.
Whatever. I'll
Yeah.
wear. It's all about the Flyers today, baby.
Yeah, over the
But
Flyers.
because they're
Awesome
winning.
birds.
Well, the Flyers have a
Oh,
good
man.
whatever. But
Flowers are too
this
much.
album is just damn near it's perfect to me. Not a single track is wasted, and this would be the blueprint for the rest of their career. Sure, their other albums I don't like as much as this one, but they're still fantastic. This was the framework, and it set an entire generation of guitarists.
Yeah, dude. 100%.
What do you leave it?
This is the cream of the crop, the fucking pinnacle.
The cream
of the crop, yeah, dude. This is like perfect. I'm gonna give it a 9.
9.
I'm
All
gonna give it a
right,
solid
hell
9.
yeah.
I didn't like like the last half of the album to me was a little but it wasn't. It
Okay.
didn't deter me from like
I could see
listening
that
to it
though.
again. Like that, like every song in the
I
beginning.
think they really put their heavy hitters at the first half.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I gave 1984 a 9.
Yeah.
I'm bumping that down to an 8, and I'm giving this a 9.
Oh, okay.
I
Alright, another
really-
score update.
Yeah, like it's definitely become my favorite Van Halen album. Even just with the 2 listens I gave it recently, it's just I don't know. There's something about this one in particular. It's just got that energy.
It's got that energy.
I think it's Eruption too.
That's
like,
another thing.
like there's no other song like that that I've ever heard. That really is just him flexing.
Yeah, in the best way possible. Yeah, this is definitely my favorite Van Halen album. But 1984 is definitely still worth a listen, of course.
Absolutely, still a really good album.
Absolute.
Second, like
Absolute.
it's between those two.
Yeah.
If you ever had to choose between
If you
them.
think 1984 is better, I see it. I definitely see why you like it better.
Like Hot for Teacher is still my favorite Van Halen album, like song,
Yeah.
but like this is my favorite.
That's one of my top 3 Van Halen songs. The other 2 are probably on this album, though. Like, Eruption is definitely one of them. And, like, Running with the Devil's fantastic, too.
Running with the devil.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right,
Alright,
what are we
Luke,
listening
so
to
I
next
think
week?
I know what Luke's picking, and I'm excited for it, because it's goofy as fuck, but...
Lemon pound cake.
Yeah,
Pound
baby!
cake.
This
We're
is-
doing Afro Man.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
We're doing Afro
I'm
Man.
kind of upset our first Afro Man album isn't The Good Times.
Do you want it to be?
No, we'll do this
No
one.
backsies.
Yeah, it's
No
too late
backsies.
now. Fuck it.
Yeah, so this is our first Afro Man album, and it's
Oh,
funny
man.
enough, his newest album,
Yeah.
it came out just last year, and
Fucking.
I got some
hysterical.
funny things to say about it when we get to it.
We have to do a lot of research into it so we don't fucking misconstrue.
I know
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, we know a bit of the story.
Because I know
I
like
know most of the story.
Because this album has a lot of story to it for stuff that happened recently.
Yeah.
it's all BS.
Yeah.
And
So tune in next week. We're gonna look at Lemon Pound Cake.